So, as you can see, I'm talking about college students and why you should vote. I'm going to take a little vote right now. For the view in this classroom, which one of you voted this semester for this election that just happened? Raise your hand. Ooh, do we have one? Do we just have one? That's okay, that's okay. And then, which of you are registered to vote? Okay, so we got a couple more. Which one of you just didn't want to vote, just because you hated the candidates? Also good options. I voted personally because I think it's my duty to do it, but for the next slide, you can see only 17% voted in the year 2014 when we were electing governors. 42% were registered but didn't vote because they were too lazy to find a fire station, police station, or they just didn't really want to vote, or they got bad information. And 10% just didn't want to vote. Just because they didn't like the candidates, just because they didn't feel it up today, they were not motivated to vote, they didn't have a good, they just didn't want to vote because they had no idea what was going on in their election. They just didn't like the candidates. Next slide. Negative news around the candidates. Obviously we have Trump. Everyone hates him. Well, not everyone. Lots of people like him. But a lot of negative news around both of them. We had so many different creative doodles about him. Hillary, obviously, she was a liar, or whatever you want to say. George W. Bush and Al Gore, both candidates, not a lot of people liked. Al Gore, a lot of people didn't like his very aggressive take on the environment and how we should take care of that. And Bush, a lot of people just didn't like his policies and what he stood for. Abraham Lincoln, he was very controversial. A lot of people, such as the South, did not like his views. This wasn't in the case when he was elected, but this came up later on. But you can see opinions change very quickly. Within a couple years, people were like, oh, I'm not gonna vote for him next semester or whatever. Their opinions change very fast for him. Next one. For the uneducated slide, we have, where is the info? For me, it was really hard to find info. I had to go onto multiple sites just to find where I could vote. Some police stations weren't holding voting booths, so that was very hard, or fire stations weren't holding them. Do we have the time? Some people don't. Some people have to work all the time. Some people have to work 60 hours a week. So, in what time of the day do you have to vote? Some people have to work at night, and that makes it very hard to vote during the daytime. Why should I care? For this election, a lot of people didn't care. A lot of people wanted just to stay home, didn't care about the voting whatsoever. They hated both candidates. So, they're like, yeah, why not? I'm just gonna stay home. Someone else will vote for me. Next slide. They feel like their vote doesn't count. One vote doesn't make a difference is a famous one that we do, or that we hear. My vote doesn't matter. The Electoral College decides anyway. Those are all very negative slangs, or not slangs, but very negative things that we say to talk about how we vote, which is extremely awful because everyone should vote, everyone should have a say, even if you know very little, like, oh, I just like Hillary because she's a strong, independent woman who should run this country instead of a Cheeto head. But we won't talk about that anymore. Next one. Unmotivated. I'm extremely unmotivated. I take forever to do these assignments. I usually wait until the very last day to do it, which is awful if you want to vote because you need the information. You need to do your research on each candidate, and sometimes that takes too long. So being unmotivated is a big thing for us younger college students. Next slide. What we could have done, obviously, well, Bernie, I don't think we could have saved. Not enough people liked him, but I think it was something like if 30% more of us voted in this last election, we probably could have had Hillary further up in the, either way, we could have saved her instead of Trump, because that would have been much better. Here's the information. I looked it all up. It took me a while to find this stuff. like really, really good sites instead of the ones just like, oh, you can vote here, you can vote there. But these websites will give you actual locations for the next election. They give you factual information of how to vote, what the ballots will look like for next year, or the years to come. You can go to these news stations, CNN and Fox News. I suggest going to both at the same time and then comparing what they say and find out what is similar. Because obviously they're very one-sided on CNN and Fox. They're totally different news stations that go toward the Democrats and the Republicans. So definitely compare and contrast them. And then where to vote, SOSCA. I used that website to find out where I should vote this last election, and it was very useful. So there's no excuse anymore. Go to these websites. You can easily find the information, and I highly suggest that you guys vote next time because we don't want another Trump, or just in general, we want a vote, and we can't complain when we don't vote because we didn't put a say in it. So this is my works cited for the next slide. Just all the websites that I went to. There was plenty more. I went to another 10 more, but I figured it would be too wordy. So these were the best websites that I went to get my information. Thank you.